Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about what Comic-Con is actually like. So if it's your first time going to Fan Expo or Comic-Con or any sort of fan convention, maybe you're going by yourself, this video is for you. So basically, Comic-Con takes place over the course of a long weekend, so either Thursday to Sunday or Friday to Sunday. And the way ticketing works is you can either buy a pass for the full weekend or you can buy a day pass. And basically what this pass gets you is general admission into the convention center, and you can come and go as many times as you like, but it doesn't give you access to specific panels or one-on-one celebrity meet and greets. It does give you access to breakout sessions, cosplay meetups, anything within the convention center, artist alley, stuff like that. So tickets you can buy online, and you can either just use the online code to get into the center and then you have to get a physical badge once you're there, or you can pay extra. It's usually like $15 extra to get the physical badge mailed to your house so that you don't have to wait in that line at the start of the day. And that's what I always do. I just think it's way more convenient to have the physical badge with me when I'm going in so I don't have to wait in an extra line at the very start of the day. Tickets do not cover your parking, so usually there's a parking garage connected to the convention center and you'll just pay for that separately in the parking garage. Usually it's not super expensive, so this isn't a big deal, but that's just a heads up. As far as food goes, there's usually a food section within the convention center where you can go to a bunch of different food tables they have set up. They usually have a huge variety of options, and there's also a concession stand more often than not. Sometimes there's a Starbucks in the convention center, so this is where you can get food. But I will say the food there is pretty expensive and you usually have to wait in a super long line to get it. So if you're planning on eating before you have a specific session or panel that you're like dying to go to, build in like at least an hour. Don't think that you can just grab food like a half an hour before the session and still make it in time. It takes so long to get through that food line. So that's just a heads up. And like I said, you can leave the convention center to get food, but usually there's not a ton of restaurants that are within walking distance of the center, and it's just like a pain to repark. So it is convenient to eat in the center, even if it is like kind of expensive. But I would highly recommend eating before you go to Comic-Con and after when you get home, so that you only really have to eat like once when you're there. And I would highly recommend eating in between meal times, because if you're trying to go at like noon or dinner time, the lines are going to be super long. But if you go at like 3 p.m., it'll be much easier. Okay, that's the logistics of Comic-Con. Now we can get into the fun part. So Comic-Con basically has panels for guest speakers and celebrities. It also has breakout sessions with smaller panels and just like workshops and stuff like that. It usually has a giant main center with a ton of shops set up with art and different figurines and stuff like that. That's sometimes called Artist Alley, depending on which convention you're going to, but that's just like the giant main area. And then they have cosplay meetups. So the way that the panels work is sometimes there's a smaller, maybe like B-list celebrity panel where you don't have to buy specific tickets to get into the panel. You can just use your general admission ticket. And this is more of a first come, first serve basis. So usually you have to wait in a line to get in, and that's how people are assigned their seats. So people start lining up for this pretty early. Like I went to a Guardians of the Galaxy panel, and basically, people start lining up at least an hour ahead of time. So I would say if you want to get a seat, start lining up like an hour, maybe a half an hour beforehand, depending on where you want to be seated. But that line starts really early. Don't think that you can just like waltz right in at the last minute right before it's about to start. But that is free, and that's included in your general admission. Then there's like the A-list celebrity panels, which usually happen at the end of the evening. More often than not, this is like the Saturday night panel, and these are the tickets you have to pay for separately. And basically the different levels of tickets are gold, silver, and then there's general admission. So you can potentially get into the panel just with your general admission ticket, but it's first come, first serve with gold and silver. And so a lot of times people are cut off. I've been in the general admission line trying to get in, and they just cut you off. So if you want like guaranteed seating, you either have to buy a gold ticket or a silver ticket. And the gold and silver differentiation is literally just where you sit. So like gold gets in first and then they let in silver. So between those two, it's not a big deal. Silver is definitely cheaper. And honestly, I feel like you can see the stage really well with silver. So yeah, that's probably all you need if you want guaranteed seating to see this panel. So yeah, these are the big celebrities like Mark Hamill or Orlando Bloom or Hayden Christensen. These are the panels that they're going to be at. And usually that's just like one on Saturday night. And the way these panels work, I'm sure you've seen them on YouTube. Basically, there's just like one interviewer and then a celebrity, or maybe a handful of celebrities, and they just ask questions. And it goes on for about like 30 to 45 minutes. That's how long it takes. Another part of Comic-Con is the breakout sessions, which honestly, this is my favorite part. I love the panels, but breakout sessions can be so niche. And honestly, this depends on what you're interested in, but they have like artist breakout sessions, animation, they have writing, they have cosplay, how to make cosplay. They have a whole variety of things. I went to a breakout session once where the woman who writes the different languages for Star Wars was there, and she talks about how she develops these languages. And so it can be super niche. These are so fun. And so just look at the schedule ahead of time to plan out your day so you don't miss the sessions that you want to go to, because a lot of them happen at the same time. And these are just happen in smaller rooms in the convention center. And this is, you don't have to get there super early. Usually it's not packed. You can just roll in at the last minute and that's fine. Then there's the celebrity meet and greets, and these you have to pay extra for as well. Basically, you can either buy a package with a photograph or with an autograph. And the way this works is a professional photographer will take your photo. It's not like you're just taking it on your phone, and then they'll print it out for you there, so you can have it with you for the rest of the day. But basically, these happen either behind closed doors or in the giant convention center area. So if you want to see a celebrity and you don't want to pay extra to have like an autograph or a photograph with them, you just want to like see them from a distance, which is what I wanted to do. Usually the smaller celebrities or the newer celebrities are in the main convention center area out in the open, and the lines form there. So like I saw the actor of Hiccup and some of the High School Musical cast and McKenna Grace, just those sort of celebrities out in the open, which you can see from a distance, and I think that's super fun. I was fangirling. But the big celebrities, like I mentioned before, Hayden Christensen or Mark Hamill or those type of celebrities will be behind closed doors. They sort of have like tents and curtains set up so that just like the general public can't like see them from afar. You have to pay to actually see them. So that's the way it works. Another Comic-Con classic is, of course, the cosplay. And there can be cosplay meetups that are scheduled during the day, but honestly, almost everyone's in cosplay, so you can just look around as you walk around the convention center and see a ton of great costumes. So usually if there's a specific guest panelist, like if it is a Star Wars actor, there'll be a ton of Star Wars cosplay and a specific meetup for them. And so it is fun to dress like the kind of theme for the Comic-Con, but it's also super fun to do niche cosplay. Like once I saw Feyre Archeron just like walking around the convention center, and she was giving out like High Lady of the Night Court little like medallions, and I was like, I loved that. So honestly, you do you. Just do whatever sort of cosplay you like that makes you happy. Even if you don't think anyone will get it, I guarantee it's a bunch of nerds. There will definitely be at least one person who will love your costume. And if you're not super like a big cosplay person, maybe you've never done it before or you don't have a high budget for it, that's totally fine. Like this is the chance to do it for the first time in public. I would highly recommend, obviously, like I said, if the people are there at Comic-Con, they are not going to judge you. They're going to love it. So yeah, this does not have to be a super expensive costume. I always get my costumes off of like Amazon on Prime Day, or I thrift them at Plato's Closet. So it can be handmade. It doesn't matter. People will love it. Another sort of culture shock that goes along with this is the picture taking at Comic-Con. So a lot of people will come up and ask to take a picture with you, but they'll also come up and ask to take just a picture of you. And sometimes this is with long lens cameras, sometimes it's just off their phone. But just a little heads up, that does happen, and that is normal for Comic-Con. But if you feel uncomfortable with this, literally you can just say no, and everyone's super understanding. But this did take me by surprise the first time I was there. I was kind of shocked that people wanted to just take pictures like of me without like them in it too. But that does happen, and that is normal. But obviously people will respect your boundaries. And like I said before, just some final tips. Definitely eat before and after Comic-Con so you don't have to spend your whole time in the food court. Also, I would highly recommend either bringing water, they allow you to bring that in, or buying water there, because you might just think like, oh, I'm just like walking around a convention center, I don't need water for that. But it gets so hot in there, and you will get so thirsty literally just walking around. Even if you're not talking to anyone, you'll get so thirsty. So pack water or buy water. And going along with that, it does get super hot in the convention center. You would think because it's literally a convention center, it would be freezing. They would be blasting the AC, and they are. But because there's so many people, you get so sweaty. So if you have like a lighter weight costume, I would definitely go for that. And just, yeah, keep that in mind when you're planning out your cosplay. And then the last thing is to plan out your schedule ahead of time. On the Comic-Con website or the Fan Expo website, they will have a schedule listed ahead of time, so you can pick the sessions you want to go to. And yeah, just plan that out. Make sure the schedule works for you and you have enough time to get places. Also, I would highly recommend screenshotting a map, which can also be found on the website, just so you have that handy on your phone when you're trying to navigate the center, because those places can be mazes. Like, they're really hard to navigate sometimes, and people are helpful. You can ask for directions, but the map is even more helpful, honestly. So just have that screenshotted and at the ready ahead of time. So those are my tips for Comic-Con. I hope you guys have a great time there and just, yeah, have a blast. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.